you as well. And today we actually get to do something pretty cool. We get to try the Witcher 3 Next Gen Upgrade Enhanced Edition, whatever you want to call it. You get to try it early. I, like many of you, have been waiting to go back into the Witcher 3 for like a year and a half, specifically to get to play this Next Gen Upgrade ever since they announced it. And it's taken a while, finally here. I don't have any sponsors for this video, but I did make this video on fundraiser to raise money for the NCMEC, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. If you have any supposed to, don't throw it at me. Throw it to that fundraiser. You'll see it on the side of the video or on mobile. It'll be like a little bar. You can raise money for it. It's a great cause. I think we do something relatively cool for humanity. So, go ahead and donate any money you've got there. Let's do some good. Okay, guys, let's get into it. Now, we are getting to play this on the PlayStation 5 to test out adaptive feedback, load time, all of that good. From the moment we booted up, there's a whole lot of change. One change. Top left corner, but other than that, it looks pretty standard. But the moment we boot up, you're going to notice some real differences. This is a save. I've got maybe like 2 hours into it just to get a little bit of our feet underneath us. But right off the bat, you can tell we've got 60 frames, and you also notice the camera has changed now to a more modern, sort of slightly offset position. This is the camera angle that we've seen most modern third-person RPGs and open world exploration games take, where it's slightly offset to the left. It's a Red Dead Redemption 2 uses, but everything from Callisto Protocol to the latest pre-game all takes this approach, because it's a little more cinematic. You know the rules of photography, that's basically why this is. In this case in particular, I will go into the settings. You can change this if you don't like it. You go to game code, go down here, and change all these settings to default by default in the updated version of the game. It's not default until second phase, but if you set it to default and back out, you'll see the camera shifts. And this is the camera angle you played a lot of The Witcher 3 back in the day, because this is the centered angle that they normally did. I personally really like the new change angle, and so I'm going to keep it there. One of the other changes you'll notice is that there's an option for quick sign casting, and this is actually pretty cool. You guys know from the previous version of the game, you have to hold down this button to pull up this panel to select which of the signs you wanted to equip, and then it was to pick R2 or right trigger in order to use that sign. Now, it's slightly shifted, so you can either keep that, or you can hold down right trigger, and it will pull up this little bar at the bottom right, so you can quick select whichever sign you want to use, regardless of whether it was equipped or not, or selected from the menu. So, like, if I want to just quickly use, say, Glenn, and then I want to blast them hard, I can do that. Turn on Yurden real quick. I can do that. I don't have to finish the menu just every 10 seconds. One of the other things that is going to be a matter of personal preference is whether you play with performance or fidelity mode enabled. If I go into the water, this is a great place to test it. You see, the reflections don't look bad in performance mode by any stretch, but if you take a screenshot of this, Jacob, let's take a screenshot of this. But if I go into settings, go options, display, graphic, this will target 30 FPS with dynamic resolution. So then we back out. It's going to feel a little rough going from 60 down to 30. But if we back all the way out, you'll notice that now we have accurate ray tracing in the distance all the way around us. There's some slight artifacting from the far left. So you can see that it's actually reflecting what is above it. And even if the camera goes up, it largely remains, though once again there are some artifacts in terms of what the camera thinks is there. You see there's a big tree right there in the center of the screen. If you look up, that changes to the house. I don't totally understand why this happened, but my understanding is it's basically one of the compromises they made to get it working on consoles. It's not like full ray tracing like we saw in 77, but it's slightly altered version. What do you want from me? I'm not Digital Foundry, okay? I don't have all the answers. Now, with that having been said, ray trace global illumination is something something that is great and it's nice to have. But personally, for me, it's different for everybody. I would rather have 60 frames when playing on console than 30. I don't think that it immediately means the game sucks if you're playing at 30. I just personally prefer 60 if it's an option, especially when the ray tracing reflections aren't significantly better than what we would get with the screen space reflections, and there's still artifacts and stuff. I prefer the 60. One of the other changes you might have noticed as well is in the little bits on the bottom right of button mapping and things. They changed sprint, so it's no longer tapping X or A if you're on Xbox. Now sprinting is tied towards pushing the left stick in. Again, more in line with typical games and other mainstream, AAA RPGs and open world games that you play. Across the board, they've also increased vegetation density. They've increased the quality of the green effects, of the air effects, texture quality is greatly improved. And all of this because this, in large part, was sort of an absorption of several mods that have been available on the PC stage for years at this point. But they made it official, basically. So all of the increased foliage, the LOD distance, you can see all the way out there. As far as we can see, there's still animals being rendered, the foliage is still generated. It's way more dense than it was in the previous version of the game, and it looks tremendous. They've also done a handful of things where they've reworked how the UI looks, specifically which points of interest appear on the map by default. I think this is a great change. I always felt as though the UI was a little overly aggressive with showing you every little tidbit that was available on the map, so I think that that's a really good change. But it's important to note that those things can be turned back on in the menu. You'll also notice that while I'm out exploring, I have the mini-map turned off. It's not that it's gone, it's that it's been changed. And so I can bring it back by bringing up my Witcher senses if I choose, but this is specifically while I'm exploring. If I'm not exploring or if I'm in a detective mode, it's going to change it so it'll stay present. But again, this is something you can change in the settings if you want, or you can just keep it like this all the time where it automatically out. It's really up to you. On PlayStation 5, they've also added improved haptic feedback on the controller. There's adaptive support, specifically when you're using signs and holding down the right trigger. It's nothing amazing or revolutionary, but it's certainly there, and it does feel a lot better than it did on the previous version of the game. So, it's a thing. They've also added some new DLC and different items that you can get, which I'm not going to be showing because this is still technically not out yet, and I don't want to spoil that. I know a lot of you guys are going to be playing this yourselves, and you would not appreciate having that quest line spoiled, so I'm not going to show you that. But I will say on a different save, I went through it, and you know what? I think those missions are worth going through. I'll just leave it at that. But if you have The Witcher 3, you own it already, and if you were thinking of going back after this update is made available, after all it's free, I would definitely suggest you go back and check it out, because I do think that it is worth your time. But really, at the end of the day, this is meant to be the definitive version of The Witcher 3. This is supposed to offer console players
Today I was going to be trying out Fantasy Star Online 2 again. It's been a pretty long time since the last time I played Fantasy Star. Probably a good 8 months to maybe a year. I wanted to see what is new. They added a couple new zones, and they also did a performance upgrade with this whole NVIDIA thingy, the XL, whatever the hell it's called. I'm going to pull it up right now in a second so you can see. But I turned it on and I wanted to see if the performance was any better, which it seems like it's okay, but there's still like this weird stuttering bit where like the game like freeze for a second. So we'll see. I don't know, because this game has always had some weird performance issues, at least with the new Genesis. It's always had some performance issues, so I'm gonna mess around with it some more and just kind of explore too. So this new performance mode, so all the way down here, this one, the DLSS, that's the thing. So I put it on auto. I don't know if there's any specifics on where I'm supposed to put it, but it was off by default, so I put it on. I don't have an AMD, so I have that thing off. And yeah, whatever happens, happens. We just leave it as this. Zoom is off. I hate Zoom. I hate multi-blur. I always shut those things off by default. So. And it seems like it's okay. I don't know. But it's like this weird stutter thing. Like every once in a blue moon, like the game will like freeze for a millisecond. And it's enough to annoy the shit out of you. So that happens. It doesn't feel super smooth right now in the city. It feels like it's kind of choppy. I don't know. I just feel like this game just is like poorly optimized, but it is what it is. Basically, the newest thing that was added. So this is like the core area, just this small little island, basically. They added 3 new areas total. So they have this desert land, which I did explore a little bit of it, and it's been pretty cool. And then they have a new land that just came out, which is this volcano mountain thing. And then this area, which I haven't been to, which is the winter mountain place. So there's 2 mountains, basically. So I was going to be trying to explore some of that stuff, but apparently I have to do a quest line in order to get over there, so I can't do it yet, and then also with this. So I'll have to figure that out. That's probably the best part about this game, is you don't have to actually pick up loot, it gets sucked into you. So it's really nice. PSC first. That's the one thing I noticed from the original game. I don't understand why they got rid of the voice acting. All they needed to do is just copy paste. PSC first. Like, I really love that. I don't know. There's just something cool about it. One more. I don't know. That shit was hilarious. But I love it. They're just so hyped. You know, like original Fantasy Star, especially like the little concerts and all that shit that they have all the time. That shit is super hype. I just feel like New Genesis is it's like they basically took like 3 steps back with New Genesis, because they had a cool concept of open world or whatever, but it's just the world doesn't feel as alive as it should have been, and also like it's missing a lot of the elements of what made Phantasy Star Online 2 the original one very special. Especially like the biggest thing that I really loved about it was just like, you know, the emergency alert missions or whatever, where you have to go into a mission to fight like a big ass crazy boss. Like that stuff was always so fucking cool. And they do have cool bosses. You see like this one just showed up right now, that's pretty cool. But it's not as grand as it was in the original game, especially when there's like totally new areas that you get sent to, like some hellscape area that looks fucking badass, or it'll be like a city area, or it'll be like, you know, something completely different, like off the wall, like ridiculous. And that's what made the game awesome. But in this game, the only thing that we look forward to is a fucking like stupid ass it looks like a training room or whatever. That's the only layout there is for the dungeons. It's just the stupidest shit ever. It's like they lost all creativity and then decided, let's just be lazy, and they just put a bunch of random mobs inside of the training facility looking area. Yeah, this fits with the storyline.
You did it. You killed it. Now cut me down
It's
before
super
anything else
lazy. I
shows
don't, I
up.
don't care what the fuck they say about what
Yes,
kind
the
of
claw.
lore
I know how it
it's
works.
attached to.
The
It's
claw,
just
the
lazy.
markings, the door.
Lazy
Help me
game
down and
design.
I'll show
And
you.
it's sad,
You
man,
won't
because
believe the power.
the
Sweet
original
breath of
Phantasy Star
arcane,
just had
thank
so
you.
much heart and soul poured into it. Just there's a lot of memories attached to it, man. It's such a good game. A lot
It's
of
coming
times I
loose.
just want to
I
play
can
the
feel
original
it.
game again. Like I wouldn't mind like even just making a whole new account so I could start from scratch. Level up a whole new character. Actually, I don't have to make a whole new account. I
Why
can
should
make a
I
new
share the
character.
treasure with
Yeah, I'm
anyone?
not against it. It's a cool ass boss, but it would be nice if it was like an area tied to this boss, like some underground dungeon, cave area. You go to explore, you know? That kind of shit. That would have been cool. The biggest downside though, aside from the predictability, is there's no way to make a healer like in the original Phantasy Star game. So like you play a Tekker or you play like Swords or whatever, and there's no heals in New Genesis. So the only way to heal yourself is to use these freaking these things right here in the ground, which is basically like glorified Mahamate, but without the actual like taking up your inventory space. Like, it's basically you just collect them in the world. They're just there. I just feel like it kind of takes away from having like different types of builds. Because I used to like playing like healer builds too. I would be like more support on the team. So it was fun doing that, but you can't do that in New Genesis. Everything is all just DPS, so everybody just makes a cookie cutter DPS build all the time. The only thing that's missing from the game is like actual timing. Like you can grab the leg it would have been nice if they added something like that. Or maybe like unlimited jumping off the wall. Like you can basically just keep skipping, or maybe run up the wall like Sonic does in the Frontiers loop. No, option of patch. It's a murder. Oh look, this thing's cute too. I'm gonna go say hi to it. Oh no, I'm trying to kill me. Let's see what the katana is like. Is there a parry? Yeah, I don't remember. Oh, this is probably one of those, you gotta follow it, crash land. Oh, there it is, crash land over here. That's pretty cool. Oh, the raccoon. Murder the raccoon. That anime dramatic fall, I guess. It took a while. It's just a great, like, conversations they're having. Yeah, they're sort of pretty what are we doing? Why are we staring at her fucking typing?
2 is the biggest gaming disappointment of 2022. Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. So this is an article that popped up on Kotaku. Now, Kotaku is not the best of the greatest website when it comes to news, to be honest. However, I thought this would be interesting to go over because it's the question we need to legitimately address. Now, I know a lot of us, especially myself included, are die-hard Overwatch fans, and we played Overwatch 1 for like 6 years. Now we play Overwatch 2, essentially Overwatch 1, content. So let's try and work out what is going on here, because I think the one good thing Kotaku can maybe be seen for is more of a centralised approach to games. Specifically, they're not die-hard Overwatch fans, are they? So, how do they view the game? Well, let's take a look at what they said. The original Overwatch was another one of many games in 2022 to bite the dust, and when it died, it was replaced immediately by its successor. So this could have worked. Blizzard could have taken the original game and updated it in a big way and got people excited to play Overwatch again. Instead, Overwatch 2's launch was a giant mess with server issues, bugs, broken characters, overpriced skins, phone logic requirements, tons of grinding, and a shitty battle pass, and no PvE content. A big part of the initial Overwatch is hit. Today, a few months later, Overwatch 2 is in a better place, but it still feels like Blizzard picked the absolute worst way to roll this game out and then screwed up that plan too. Okay, let's break this down. So Overwatch 2 is a disappointment if you were expecting a brand new game jam-packed with content. And that's the issue we had for absolutely ages with them calling Overwatch 2 Overwatch 2. It is not Overwatch 2. It's Overwatch, just 5v5 with content production resuming. That's literally it. There is no major marquee update that makes this Overwatch 2. That is the core what we're hoping the PvE is. Now, let's just really back in and let's think about what has happened with Overwatch 2 so far. So we know the game has 40 million players so far. The game's free to play, so not all of those players have spent money. We know the shop isn't very good. We know the prices of the items are ridiculous. We know the battle pass is basically the worst one in gaming at the moment. So how much money would they have made? Well, if we just do some quick arithmetic and we say 40 million players, we say 3% of those, which maybe spent $100, right? Which I think is probably a bit optimistic, but let's just say they spent $100 if you factor in Watchpoint Pack, maybe they bought that. Also, I don't know, let's throw in Battle Pass, yada yada yada. Let's try and get $100. I think if it reaches 40 million people at $100, that's about $120 million I think of revenue. Now, if those figures can never be verified, and that's me just throwing numbers out of anywhere. Let's imagine Overwatch 2 launched as a complete product with all of the PvE updates and the PvP together. Suddenly, you've got another $1 million that would be essential and it's quite crazy. So you might literally pull down the net obviously use any kind of baseline. Now we don't know how much Overwatch 2 has made and how much it hasn't made. The issue I think here is it's almost like the boy that cried wolf, because Blizzard, back when the beta came out for Overwatch 2, created a massive storm on Twitch. There were like in the region of 1.4 million plus viewers in the Overwatch category. The highest viewed Blizzard game ever in history. Massive. This is people coming in to check out Overwatch 2. They then see this, well, they see the same game as Overwatch 1, but it's just 5v5. They're very confused. Then the next time there's a big update to the game, when actually Overwatch 2 launches, it's not as popular as the beta event. And then now, we go forward to Season 2, and again, it's not as popular as it was before. It is declining. This is because Blizzard are almost... Crying wolf might be a little bit, that's maybe a little bit over the top, but basically, they're making a big storm about a big update in their new game, which looks very similar to their old game, but essentially is their old game. Another thing to consider as well, if we take Fortnite as an example, Fortnite's had quite a few engine upgrades since the game came out. I remember Fortnite came out after Overwatch. Right now, I believe Fortnite runs on Unreal Engine 5. It looks actually pretty good. This is something as well, it does look good. But the upgrades are minimal. They're not wide-reaching changes that totally change the visual aesthetic of the game, change the technical ability of the engine. They're just slight upgrades, higher resolution textures, different kinds of things like texture mapping and stuff like that. It's better, but it's not that, like, Andrew knows what to go, well, it's a new game. You just look at it and go, well, it's just like Overwatch. And that, again, is the problem with the fact
finding the home that you really want just got easier.
when we start talking about people saying Overwatch 2 is one of the biggest disappointments of the year, because it is not really a sequel, it's just an update to Overwatch, which is also fine. Don't get me wrong, this isn't like the game we crashed. I'm not sitting here going, it's the worst thing ever, because I wholeheartedly believe Overwatch as a game is still extremely unique, and the actual gameplay, so what we play in the match, is still very strong. I know there's issues with support and that kind of stuff, but it is still a very strong proposition. But that is a game built by a game development team that doesn't exist anymore. The new team we've got now are plugging content into the existing platform, and so what we've got is Overwatch essentially just being updated with more content. And I think this is where the problems start arising, whereas if they just said, Overwatch 2 is not Overwatch 2, in fact it's just Overwatch 2.0, it's our big reimagining, re-update to the game, we're committing back to updating the game again, then I don't think we start seeing articles pop up going, well, Overwatch 2 is a disappointment, this is just Overwatch 1, and all of that crap, because they're being true to themselves. Because they're not, are they, at the moment? They're saying it's a sequel, and we have to ride this treadmill of Overwatch 2, and we know this isn't Overwatch 2. Now, in a few years' time, it might be Overwatch 2, because then we've got loads of PvE stuff, and we've got other stuff, and whatever going on. The fact is that right now, what we're playing is a beta. It absolutely is. It's a monetization beta, because they're trying to see what they can get away with. They're trying to see how ridiculously bad they can make things so people pay. And if people pay, then they'll stay that way. That's just the way these things will work. They're also literally live testing balance changes on the game. They've made ridiculous changes to competitive. The list goes on and on and on. So you end up with a game that feels like they've taken stuff away. And it's not just that, they have taken things away. Where's the end cards? Send me one example. There's no end cards anymore. Well, this might be a game because we want to look at the battle pass. Where's your account level? It's gone. Well, the list just goes on and on and on. I'm not going to sit here and just talk about all those features that are missing. Again, one of the issues is new features, right? So where are the guilds and the clans? Imagine if they came out when the game launched. I think people would receive it a lot better. Where's the in-game tournament system? Imagine if that was the thing. People would receive it better. New game modes, not just one, but multiple new game modes. People would receive it better. This is the problem of Overwatch, and the game is fun. I don't think anyone is going to come at me and say it's a bad game. I don't think it is. I absolutely do not think it is. What we've got is a great game, but extremely bad in Overwatch 1 than they are in Overwatch 2. And this is where things get really perplexing, and it really makes no sense. And this is the modern age that we live in. If you have got a game that doesn't have solid progression systems, that doesn't have a solid monetization system, that isn't frustrating the player base into spending money, that is actually encouraging them. Again, I'll use Fortnite as the example here. Fortnite's Battle Pass gives you currency, so you can play the next one. So you only buy one Battle Pass, that actually encourages you to grind the Battle Pass, and guess what you do then? Oh well, you might spend money in the shop. Why isn't Overwatch doing it? If a dumb YouTuber like me can work this out within seconds, how come Blizzard are not doing this? There's got to be some insane reason. Maybe it's trying to test the waters. Maybe it's trying to say, so we can just charge them over and over again. Maybe Fortnite should be charging people every month for the battle, or whenever the new season comes out, new battle pass. That could be the world we live in. So let's think about this logically. In 2 years, now I know this is a long time away, we might actually have Overwatch 2, because we might have PvE systems in the game that are fully fledged, and actually you're going around leveling up your character, and then we don't care about camp level, we don't care about any of these other systems, because when PvE is online, suddenly it maybe makes sense. Maybe they've shifted some of these systems over to PvE. It is a very weird situation we find ourselves in, but I think to answer the question here, is Overwatch 2 the biggest disappointment of 2022? I mean, I don't think it is, but I think it is a disappointment because it isn't a fully fledged sequel. It's got issues. It clearly is a beta of the PvP, the new PvP system that we've got. It looks very similar to Overwatch 2. We have to be, we have to admit that, because it does. There's no other way around it. We're playing on maps that we've played for years and years and years. There's a lot of similarities. Obviously, the heroes, there isn't a ton of new heroes at launch. I remember back when we were all speculating about Overwatch 2 launch, which seems like an absolute lifetime ago. We were like, oh yeah, there's got to be at least 7, 8, 9 heroes that are just going to hit the game when it launches. Imagine that, it would be incredible. But no, we're only at the point where we've got 4 new heroes at the moment, which still is, you know, it's okay, it's 4 new heroes, but it's not that instant hit. And I think that's probably not the instant hit, especially when we look at the second Overwatch, is forget just how the content to warrant sequel, because it is a sequel. Oh my god, let me think about all this stuff on the show. I really want to talk about this about it. So I genuinely do want to know if Overwatch 2 is a major disappointment. Overwatch it's basically $1 billion box sales, and it's definitely it. It was incredibly well made. It was just great. And again, you could argue that this is from a time where Blizzard was maybe more concerned with the art.
Ahoy, folks! Chris here with a quick update on the Super Mario Bros. Movie. A brand new McDonald's commercial has come out, which means there's even more for us to look through now. Since this isn't an English ad, we can't say for sure if this is Chris Pratt's Mario. But whoever it is, it doesn't sound all that bad. The entire scene is filled with different sound effects from Mario games, including the spring, jumps, the warp pipe, and even a 1-up. It's hard to say exactly when in the movie this would be, though, as we haven't seen actual piranha plants in the Mushroom Kingdom this far. More than likely, this ad, similar to the one shown in New York City's Times Square, was made specifically for advertisement purposes, and doesn't actually reflect the scene taken from the movie. Regardless, it's good.
This episode is sponsored by ExpressVPN.
Big tech is pretty powerful. They can work on manipulating your personal data.
So find a layer of protection between your online activity and those tech juggernauts by using ExpressVPN.
When you run ExpressVPN on your device, get high-tech addresses, making your activity harder to trace and sell to advertisers.
And it's incredibly easy to use. Download the app, tap one button, and you're protected. All without slowing your connection. That's why it's rated the #1 VPN service by
VPN for free by visiting expressvpn.com/DVPRE or clicking the link in the description below. It's the spring of 1995, a demonic menace that threatens to consume the world in chaos. Goku and Vegeta were brought to the brink with only one option left: you dead. They used their most incredible techniques to become a bird, beating up unimaginable powers. Does this sound familiar?
Well, there wasn't any dance team vocally involved. Instead, they used the guitar.
Only the gods themselves could run blade like this. That's right, the Rotary Area was one of time. The gods that supervised the universes.
By placing one area of the here, the guitar arguably uses two pieces together to explore the one. In this case, Vegeta fused with one.
Vegeta. Oh, you seriously? Vegito? Couldn't they have a better name?
That's not that bad. And remember, Fusion Reborn started production well before Toriyama penned Vegito's first appearance.
So, Toei calls dibs on the better name, huh? But still, shouldn't it be like Vegito? I don't think that's much better either. Right? Vegito.
It makes more sense in Japanese. Vegito was formed from the first half of Vegeta and the latter half of Naruto. This is why Wikipedia actually translated it to Vegeron.
Oh, that one sucks too. Okay, for it now, let's talk about how to blow shit up real good.
Vegeta has two techniques that are entirely known. That was the perfect combination of both the moves, such as
has the final Kamehameha.
Or like Vegeta's final class, but fired like Goku's Kamehameha way. He's got a Spirit Sword, the Saiyan Shield, and the Banshee Blast. Which, no, it's not the ghost attack you're thinking of.
With Goku and Vegeta's powers combined, Majin Buu was no match. Super Vegeta was so friggin' powerful that even being turned into candy didn't slow him down. It just made him delicious.
His level of power had transcended to such an impressive degree that he was capable of effectively ignoring having his matter entirely altered and his DNA eradicated. He continued on as the incredible fighting candy. Wait, does that mean everyone was still sentient?
What do you mean?
When food turned people to candy and ate them, I always assumed they died upon transformation. But what if they were actually still alive, helpless within an inanimate shell of sugar, with no way to run, and no way to scream in terror as they were chewed into sugary mush?
What the dude?
I need to lie down. We're gonna come back next week for the climactic battle between Gogeta and Vegeta.
Especially these days. It feels like it.
So it's been almost a month since Donald Trump announced that he was officially running for president for his third time. And since that announcement, other than of course posting on Truth Social, the former president has seemingly disappeared. Everybody out there in the media right now is asking the same question: where the hell is Donald Trump? We have this big grand announcement. We've been wanting to make it all year long. To finally get to that point, you tell everybody you're running for president, and then you just don't do anything at all. Other than, of course, engaged in a bunch of different scandals that, of course, have certainly hurt your chances of becoming president ever again. Specifically, the dinner with Kanye West and Nick Fuentes. But, as I mentioned, aside from a couple of posts on Truth Social, one of which were involved in terminating the United States Constitution, Trump hasn't really done anything. He's not out there appearing on conservative. He hasn't done a single rally. Those are his favorite things on the screen. He hasn't done a single one. He's showed up before he has other events on a lot of those interviews. And that's it. Radio silence was an absolute Trump campaign. And now everybody, of course, is trying to scramble and figure what to make of this. Why is Trump not out there being the true Donald Trump himself? And I think there's a very good reason why Donald Trump decided to make the announcement and go into hiding. And that is because he's doing very poorly with multiple different legal problems that he is currently facing. I honestly don't think it has anything to do with the Kanye West and Nick Fuentes dinner and all the fallout from that. I think that Donald Trump is afraid to make himself public right now because he knows how badly those investigations are going. He is fighting a lot of different legal battles on multiple different fronts with multiple different legal teams. And that is believe it or not. What is Donald Trump doing this right now with the American folk? Non-MAGA free. The independents aren't huge fans of him. Obviously, the moderates, the Democrats, not fans of him at all. But he's got that MAGA base on lockdown. So going out there and doing a bunch of rallies right now is not going to endear him to the moderates and the independents. They aren't showing up in these rallies. It's just a hardcore people who already have a attack.
You alright?
Just last week, we were able to reveal 4 huge new details. So in case you missed it, I can break it down. Starting with Hogwarts Legacy's Overture to the Unwritten that dropped Monday. A huge reveal with 5 minutes of new, never
I'm fine.
and new, never seen in-game footage. Played beautifully live by the 7-string symphony orchestra and choir, and directed by Eric Martin, marketing manager. Musically, taking the listeners on an emotional journey through Hogwarts Legacy's story, showcasing a great mix of orchestra performances and actual in-game footage, with some of the more mesmerizing footage being of Hogwarts at different times of the day, and this gorgeous map of Hogwarts and the surrounding areas. First seen in the State of Play trailer back in March, giving us fans more questions than answers, like, is that ancient magic ley lines we're seeing? You can now listen to Hogwarts Legacy's Overture to the Unwritten on Spotify and Apple Music. The very next day, Hogwarts Legacy dropped another huge reveal with the making the music video, providing an amazingly great in-depth look at awesome people and instruments involved with the making of the in-game music, revealing over 30 hours of original score for Hogwarts Legacy inspired by the famous music that we all know and love from the Harry Potter films, while also providing even more new, never-seen in-game footage. Our first look, the famous and ever-being 336 Inn and Pub, located right in Hogsmeade. I cannot wait to visit that pub. Then, a new cutscene of the herbology and my favorite professor, Professor Garlic, feeding a plant in class. And then the most talked about clip from the making the music video is a new look at the room summoning in-game animation, hinting at the highly debated jump mechanic being used as the MC jumps right off of the cliff before summoning the room and mechanic that was being confirmed on Twitter, who became jump. Confirming the highly debated feature is actually in Hogwarts Legacy. It's a 3-second clip of a look showcasing the look and sound of jumping in game. Seriously, I cannot applaud Hogwarts Legacy and the Avalanche software enough for this legendary post, showing that they truly have a pulse on our ever-growing community. That was a hilariously perfectly timed, huge new reveal by Hogwarts Legacy. Now, let's hope we see Avalanche software reveal swimming or no swimming next in game. The last bit of huge news comes by way of the Game Awards, where Hogwarts Legacy was nominated for Most Anticipated Game of 2023. Officially co-streamed by us, we watched 4 hours of the event live with you, the community, hoping to see if Hogwarts Legacy would win. Sadly, it was beaten out by The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, which was a huge bummer, but to be nominated is a big deal nonetheless. Sentiments shared by Chandler Wood, community manager, who was actually at the Game Awards with other members of the Avalanche software team, stating, "Thank you to our entire community for all your excitement and anticipation. We were up against some great upcoming games tonight, and just to be among the games people are excited for here is an enormous honor. Even without an award, we do what we do for all our so much money, why it will be a success, and the work Avalanche Software is doing on the game mixed with our response to that work. Rock Hogwarts Legacy will be nominated for a couple of awards at 2023 Game Awards, including Game of the Year. If you missed last week's Game Awards, check out this video featuring myself and
The general gist of my impressions were that what we played was really fun. The
Hand over your valuables, or I'll gut you like a fish. Well, I can see you're not one to be trifled with. Let this be a warning to you.
Expansion, and on top of that, they're selling early access for 4 days for an extra $20. I don't love that stuff, but I can save that discussion for another video. I got a busy week, but I want to talk about this for sure. But just speaking to the game itself, my early impressions, a little bit more about the game. In particular, I actually want to dive a bit deeper into the open world. We touched on this in the last video, but I want to get a lot more detail focused here. This is obviously one of the biggest parts of the new direction for the franchise. Before a full-on open world game, no loading zone, tons of various activities to do, and it is a shared space. I mean, the one I would expect other MMO like. But Destiny really will occasionally see people come in and out of the world, phasing or kind of socializing and stuff like that. And yeah, beyond the gameplay, this aspect of Diablo 4 is open world and all of the things that contain what I have enjoyed. So let's talk a bit more about that. So the number we got access to in this build was, again, one of these 5 small fractions. The extensive region, wood, rocky areas. As for the structure and layout, basically the overall works like this. It's blocks of paths that feed into larger spaces, be those towns, settlements, castles, open fields, etc. So when you look at the map of this, what you will see is some spots that are more large and open, and then tons of pathways branching off in different directions, winding in and out of each other. So for example, you might have a big spot that is the location of a castle. There'll be various things to do in that castle. There'll be full of enemies. There might be some public events or even a few different dungeons. All of that is just open spots on the map. And then coming off that spot, sprouting in different directions, winding around the edge, connecting to other paths before they lead into an area around the interest in addition to these open areas and their connected paths, there are also these transitional spots. This kind of works like it did in Lost Ark, for example. There were these spots that you can interact with the over just what most older ARPGs do, which have you basically just moving across a flat terrain, occasionally going up and down some stairs. So there's a lot more of a dynamic feel, a sense of verticality and depth to the world that this does a lot of different dimensions. I liked it in Lost Ark, and I particularly liked it here. All of this overworld and everything within it, for the most part, the locations are all static. The overworld of the zones in Diablo 4, they don't change. My map looks just like your map, barring any differences in our campaign, stronghold location, and then any public events. So the overworld is various locations and landing paths that the play space that you're moving throughout. So what is there to see? Well, for one, enemies. Of course, plenty of enemies. As you move through the world, you'll come across groups of enemies. In this particular zone, that included a lot of skeletons, spiders, we saw fallen, other demons, ghosts, werewolves, vampires, and each of these consisting of a mix of enemy types, with all of these standard ARPG types. Things like small swarmers, archers, casters, rogues, characters that explode, ones that trap you and charge you. Really been nothing surprising here. If you played Diablo 3, Path of Exile, Lost Ark, you know exactly what to expect in terms of the type of enemies. Also in the mix are the elite variants, these are bigger and tougher, and of course will come with their own random affixes. Again, a lot of this falls in line